Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. You guys rock. I appreciate everything. Like, subscribe, share, binge watch, share some more. The idea is to get the information out there. I'll probably touch on this brief topic a few times over the next couple of days. I tried finding videos, information, not just on prepping or shit it's the fan, but any topic of interest to me, scientific, across the internet. And I remember characters, titles, names, topics, and I couldn't find anything. I mean, it took me a long time to start finding some of the videos. And then interestingly, a lot of the information I found had the audio scrubbed, or it was so muted it couldn't be heard, or it was all scrambled up. Information is being taken from us, hidden from us, withheld from us. It's very alarming and disturbing how their manipulation is really being stepped up. And it's important for us to share, in other words. It is becoming more important all the time that we share. Otherwise, people aren't going to find the information they want. For example, I wanted to play around in the world of moon hoaxes, right? The moon landing hoax, or information that shows that, well, they may have done something up there. Down here, they made fake film, fake video, and presented that as reality, right? However you want to term it, whether it's a hoax or a staged landing, however you want to use the phrase. Staged works really nice, sounds nice. They just staged it all. Okay, well, they've hidden those videos and information. They're hiding stuff, so we must share. You find an interesting topic that you like, no matter what the topic is, just start sharing it. Share it. Okay, so speaking of that, back to the world of prepping here. We've heard the metaphor, analogy, story, myth of the ant and the grasshopper. The ant collects food all season, stores it up for the winter. The grasshopper parties it up, has a good time, and then starves. We've also heard and probably witnessed how squirrels run around, collect acorns, collect nuts, and they store them also. And so, as humans, we've tended to probably ally ourselves with the squirrel over the ant. You know, we have our nest egg, we have our nuts, right? Our stockpile of nuts. So we can live comfortably in hard times. I've got an article here. It's titled, "Our Nuts Are in Danger." It's at maudlineconomics.com. I'll put the link down below. And this is an article about General Electric and what General Electric is doing with their retirement. It's a very long article. It has a lot of very valuable information. I recommend reading it. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is not just because it's a sign that we're getting closer to shit is the fan. The reason I'm talking about this is because money makes the world go round. The reason I'm talking about this is I am almost 50. I've never had any illusions about getting Social Security, which for me is still, I think, 17 years away. It's still a long ways away. I don't plan on getting a nickel. I'm not going to get a nickel from those bastards. But there's a large percentage of Prepared Mind channel subscribers that are close to retirement, in retirement, and they're preppers, and this matters. This matters more and more. So the article covers a lot of things about what is happening. It's a fantastic article. It's probably important to you. And if you're younger, if you're a millennial, guess what? This article should be important to you for a couple of reasons. Number one, Social Security, odds are it's not going to be there for you guys either. Number two, I read a fantastic article, and I'll see if I can find it to attach it. Older millennials, above the age 30, they are very upset that they lost their ass. These are higher income millennials. They lost their asses in the '08 crash, and they're now doing calculations and realizing that they're not going to be able to retire, that they can't catch up. And there's a couple of reasons for that. They see the economic woes and problems. They realize how much they lost. They're in debt up to their eyeballs because they bought houses, they've got wives and kids and cars, and they spend money. And they realized we're in debt too much. We'll never get it all paid off. Save enough for retirement. Social Security is not going to be there. And then I've got this article about private pension funds, right? We've got problems in the pension fund retirement world, not just Social Security. But if you've got a government job, they have a private government pension. In California, it's called CalPERS, California Public Employee Retirement System. In big corporate business, companies like General Motors, Ford, General Electric, they have retirement plans that they have for their employees. And like Social Security, it seems like it's going away. I want to talk about very quickly, there's something called a defined benefit program or pension. It's the kind of plan in which the employer guarantees the worker a set monthly benefit for life. It's a corporate guarantee, right? It's not, hey, if the market goes up, you'll be richer, and if the market goes down, you'll get less. It was a guarantee. It was defined. You will get $3,000 a month for the rest of your life, no matter how long you live. It was kind of an open-ended promise. And it's easy to make promises when times are good, right? Just like a marriage, in sickness and in health, I love you, yada, yada. And you get married in good times and you feel really good about that. But you get unhealthy or something goes wrong and people are like, what am I doing with you? Right? Yeah, being a victim of that, I understand how that works. Anyways, in sickness and in health, that really only is supposed to work for marriages. Businesses, they'll make promises left and right. Oh yeah, in 40 years we'll take good care of you. For the rest of your life, yeah, you bet, as long as you want. We're seeing that as things get worse, right? The greatest economy ever. No, it's not. Everything's fine. No, it's not. John, you're always saying the sky is falling. Well, the sky is continuing to fall at a very slow pace, and I'm just ahead of the curve in recognizing it. GE, General Electric, is doing something. In October, General Electric announced several changes to its defined benefit plan. Among them, right, current employees who still have a legacy defined benefits plan will see their benefits frozen as of January 21st. And then they will accrue no further benefits and make no more contributions. The company will instead offer them matching payments of its 401k plan. That's interesting. Matching payments out of another plan which is dependent on the stock market doing well. Now, as people retire and as General Electric sells its stock or whatever it has decided to invest in for you, it's funny, a private company that's supposed to have value invest in other companies for your retirement, 401k, right? And as they sell that off, someone has to be there to buy it in order to get money to pay you your retirement. You see, as more people retire and they want to sell their equities, their stocks, their bonds, there needs to be buyers. And if the people my age and lower don't have money to buy those stocks, if there's not enough wealth going on, then the stocks up at the top for these retirees, they go down in value because no one's willing to buy them. So they have to either sell more to get a defined benefit, that guarantee. They'll have to sell more of their overall package to make that payment, right? Instead of having to sell 100 stocks, they'll have to sell 200 stocks. Well, that means the pool that General Electric and companies like it, as well as government pension programs just like it, well, they'll have to sell more to make those payments that they said you're gonna get, those guaranteed benefits. Well, if they're dumping not just a little, but now even more trying to get money, That's going to cause the value of them to fall even more. You see a downward spiraling problem here. This is important for shit hits the fan because it's a symptom of it coming. We're in pre-shit hits the fan. Companies are now changing their retirements. Okay, so in addition to that, this exchange of a guarantee for a variable that's going to pay less is one part, right? The reason they do that, it transfers investment risk to employees. The company also has no future obligations. You see, with these other types of guarantees, the company, right, is obligated your whole life. They guaranteed you to the very end. This is the problem with Social Security and other retirements that are guaranteed, is people are living longer, cost more money, cost the company more money, the government more money, makes other taxpayers pay more. You can see how this was a failed program. It was doomed from the start, but when they promised it to people, the idea was, well, they know they're going to get a guaranteed income. They know they're going to be taken care of when they're old, so they'll work harder and produce more. They'll be happy about these great jobs and benefits. Well, yes on the one hand and no on the other. Well, fuck it. Why should I work? Everything's guaranteed. I'm going to be taken care of no matter what, so why should I bother? I'm just going to clock in, clock out. I'm just going to put in my time. The government workers I've talked to over the last 30 fucking years have always had that attitude. I mean, some people work hard. They do a great job. But it's still that I'm going to put in my time. And I'm like, that just sounds like a prison sentence to me. Anyways, it's all kind of a prison sentence if you're playing into their game here. You know. GE is changing everything. I imagine on top of economic slowdown and recession or depression, if we don't get shit hits the fan, let's just say we don't get shit hits the fan, we could see some major hiccups. We're going to see some major hiccups. We're going to see a change in our currency, in our, I'm almost positive we're going to see a change in the administration, the regulatory function of the government. And I guess you could call it shit hits the fan no matter what, because it's going to be strange times coming. We really need to be prepared. Really need to get out of the stock market if you have the wherewithal to do that. Just get away from it. And I know this is horrifying to consider. As a retiree, you're going to see retirements, these guarantees disappear. For a lot of us, all we have is Social Security. That's it. Right? And we kind of lived our life thinking, well, that's our retirement, Social Security. That's what I'm paying into it for. Other people have a little more money, trying to plan a little better, do a 401k. We can see how damaged that is. Well, I have a government job. That's guaranteed. No, it's not. You see, they'll always make changes. If you made a deal with GE 35 years ago and you're 5 years from retirement, how would you feel if they come out and say, guess what? Defined benefits, guaranteed retirement, rest of your life, we're changing it. People are pissed off, scared to death. Right? This is what's going to happen. And you've got to understand there's fallout for that. The kids of those people, right, got the retirees, their kids. Everyone is looking at that as wealth that they've earned or their parents earned. It's going to put more strain on everyone else. You see, this is what's coming, the strain. There'll be less money for retirees to live on and therefore spend back into the economy. So they're going to pull money out of the investment system. And guess what? I wouldn't blame retirees for saving money, right? You get your nuts from their pile, you put them back in your pile, and you're going to do it with cash? Well, if there's inflation problems, probably not. Probably put that money into gold and silver, something that you can hold and you're like, you know what? These are my nuts. You're not stealing them anymore. right? I'm tired of getting my pile of nuts kicked. No more kicking the nuts. I knew I'd get there. This article really gets into it. And I don't just want to read articles, right? That I want to offer you some commentary on it. The pressure is rising on all companies, on the states, on the federal government. You know, we have a serious crisis. And I don't think most people understand how big this crisis is. But I'm going to make the assumption that with a little bit of pointing, we can all get it. We can all understand it, right? There's a huge chunk of money that is invested every month, a huge investment in Wall Street. And in 2 years, we've seen Wall Street flat. It hasn't gone up in 2 years now. Goes up a little, goes down a little, goes up a little, goes down a little, but we haven't really beaten past that 27,000 mark. Where is that money going that has been paid in for the last 2 years? Every month, money gets sent there, and it's not getting more valuable, right? Everything should go up. If it's a storehouse of nuts on Wall Street, every month something gets paid in from everywhere, every state, every city, every county, every private firm, every individual 401k investor, every month, tick, it should go up. Except someone is pulling money out, aren't they? They're taking money, they're pulling it out. So it goes up, it goes down, up, down. Put in money, someone takes it out. That's why the Dow is flat. It's not that companies are worth less. That money is just sitting there, supposed to be investment money, but it's being taken down. Someone is taking that wealth. I know who it is. That doesn't really matter because we can't stop it. But people keep sending money there. I would recommend, if I were an investment advisor, but I'm not, so don't listen to me, I wouldn't send my money there. If we could get out of paying Social Security, I wouldn't pay Social Security. Because it doesn't go into a fund. There is not a storehouse of government nuts. Your nuts aren't sitting there allocated in a box. These are Fred's nuts, and these are Jones nuts. No. It goes into a general fund, gets spent off, and they promise later to pay you. But we've seen and heard, well, government says you can't retire now. You got to wait until you're not 62, 65. Not 65, 75, right? They can change the rules as they go. It's happening now. Now, boomers have been retiring for the, last 10, 15 years, and they're going to continue to retire? Well, guess what? They're going to keep trying to retire, but they're going to keep taking their benefits away. Taking people's nuts. This is horrifyingly bad. And, this article covers breaking even. It covers a lot of great stuff. I just talked about breaking even. We're sitting at that near all-time high, 27,000. And everyone's excited and happy that we're breaking even. But how much do you put in? How much does the government take from you and put in every month? You're not breaking even. In reality, you're losing. You're losing your retirement because it's not going up. Plus, you have inflation, which is anyway, they claim 2%. It's more like 4 or 5. In some cases, depending on what we're talking about, it could be a lot higher. You're losing that. If the value of your retirement doesn't continue to go up, it's just staying flat, plus inflation, you're actually going down. As you get older, it's going down, which means you're going to have less purchasing power when you retire, which means you'll be able to participate in the economy that Gen X, my generation, millennials, they're paying into. And that's why the millennials are giving up. They're like, fuck it, we don't want to work. In a way, you can't blame them. But at the same time, it's like, hey, you little pricks, we did our job. You all need to do your job. And I'm not talking about the ones that work. I'm talking about the ones that don't. Right? You guys got to do your job. You got to, you want government benefits, right? You want free this, free that, free school, free medical, free everything, but you don't want to work for it. They've gone 180 from, well, I'm just not going to work, to I'm going to not work and take everything. It's called socialism and communism. You can see how what's happening to the retirees and the behavior of a percentage of millennials down here is the money's coming down up top, and these people are helping to drag it even further. It's going to cause shit to hit the fan. And when shit hits the fan, guess what? It is, all deals are off, right? It's like sitting at a poker game and someone flips the table, cards, chips, drinks, everything gone. There's no accounting for it. You can't finish the hand. Can't even finish the hand, much less the night. There's money all over the place, and it's going to be a grabastic, crazy fest. Punches, whining, screaming, crying. You know, money on the floor is found money. Everyone's going to run and jump for it. When this goes up in smoke, when the economy goes up in smoke, retirements are off the table. When the economy goes up in smoke, entitlements for non-working, welfare case, I want a free handout at the bottom, it's done. EBT cards gone. Unfortunately for everyone, that's what's going to happen. This article is great. It's just one more example. It gives you a lot more details, and you can see how it's going to continue to change. They'll come back to the table and say, hey, we've got all the money. We're telling you what kind of deal we're going to give you. And it's not like General Motors, which is a ridiculous strike. And I doubt things are going to get better for the workers. I understand their case. Hey, General Motors is saying it's making tons of money. It's profitable. While they're closing plants. How come they're not sharing that with the workers? I get it. I get the complaint. At the same time, the cars aren't selling. They're closing plants. They're only looking good on paper because they're massaging the numbers. And if they get rid of a bunch of depreciating assets, right? Yeah, you bet it's going to make them look better. It's ridiculous. The whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. You know, yeah, the whole thing is, there's just too much to put out to discuss, but I think this is enough to think about. Definitely read the article, think about it, depending on whether you're retired, close to it, not close to it, or it's hell and gone far away from you. It's going to matter. A millennial can't say, I don't give a fuck about my granddad. Who gives a shit about my grandparents? Yeah, it matters, because their money won't get handed down to you, kiddo. Right? Their money is evaporating, so they don't get it and you don't get it. Their money, their house, their wealth, their cars, if they're not taken care of right, they're going to have to sell their stuff off. You get nothing. And that money's not going to go into the economy that pays your bill down here. So everything affects all generations. You know, this complaint that, well, they got all the money, so I'm not working. Or the Gen Xers have the best management jobs and high-paying jobs, so why should I bother? Hey, we all did our time, and there was an expectation that there would be a big old pile of nuts at the end, right? You could sit back and rest in your golden years. Odds of that are really slim. You've got to be a hell of a planner and a very smart cookie. For the rest of us, we've got big trouble ahead of us. And shit hitting the fan is a symptom of it. And what's being done with these retirements is going to contribute to and exacerbate the SHTF that's coming. Now, we could have an entire economic collapse. And shit hits the fan is about something else. It could be about electricity. It could be about food. But money is a contributory factor, and it's part of the world going round. You know, if you can't finance and fund food making, that's right, farmers have to go out and get loans to plant crops and do their job. If money's not available, or they charge too much interest, or they can't sell those crops for a profit, guess what? They go out of business like any other business. They're just not making food. Now we've got a food crisis. We've got a food crisis developing because of weather and over in China because of disease, but we could have one because of the money issue. So we've got to understand that. This is great, over in the Netherlands, the Dutch, they were told that it's their fault. The farmers were told it was their fault that climate change is happening. And they were told, you don't get to farm as much. That's how they make their living, and they have to produce so much to pay for all of their debt. Farmers took their tractors out into the freeways and parked them. And they brought big sections of the country to a halt and said, you're going to do what to us? Beautifully, the Dutch have big nuts. The size of the nuts on those Dutchmen. For saying, you know what? You want to protest, motherfuckers? We'll show you what a protest is. They could go the other way and say, well, fine then. We're not going to plant shit. Enjoy it. But they've got to make a living, so they will plant. And they're letting everyone know how important they are. You don't just get to tell us we don't get to farm because it's our fault. Right? Farms can, the whole system is teetering precariously on what I like to think of as a knife edge. It's not a razor's edge yet, but it's definitely a knife edge. You can still fall off of a knife edge. Between food, finance, government, the expectations and behavior of people. It's very, very precarious. So the idea of being prepped, if you're a man and woman age 50 above, no kids in the house, you can get a 4-year food supply to feed yourself, pre-packaged, shipped to you for about $6,000. Like $1,500 a year for two of you. Two of you or one of you? Anyways, I know you can get a family of 4 for 1 year for $6,000. So you cut that in half. Yeah, $3,000, $1,500 a year. $1,500 a year, and that's the very basics. I know it's basics and is minimal, but you can get a giant package, put on a pallet and shipped to your house. And you've got food for lean times. $6,000. Go to Walmart. Go online. Go to the preparedmind.club. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have something like that because of what we're seeing with the food situation, the money situation, the distribution network situation, right? It's not looking good, in other words, but this is another example. This kick in the nuts. Get your nut pile kicked across the floor. This is coming. It is not getting better. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed to all. Do the best you can. Semper Fi.